I'm Tony Beshara, and I'm going to help you do better at finding a job.
He is listed by Fordyce Magazine as the #1 headhunting career placement guy in the country. The #1 guy. His name's Tony Beshara.
Kimberly, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Come right over here and have a seat right there. Good to see you.
It's good to be here.
We finally made it, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome. And you have a very unique attribute that a lot of people don't. Can you tell our listeners what it is?
I am visually impaired and do the best I can and with whatever situation I face. And one of my strongest attributes is perseverance.
Okay, good. What have you been doing and how have you been going about looking for a job? Obviously, you're faced with some challenges. How have you been dealing with those?
I went to school to earn my bachelor's in music and my master's in music back when teaching in a public school was a secure job in music education.
And you did get your degree though, right?
Right, I got both degrees. After 5 months of job searching with no success, I went back for my certification by taking some online classes.
Okay.
I ended up moving here for my field experience. I was scheduled to teach in Plano, and they called me 3 days before I was supposed to move up here and said, "We're sorry, but we don't have a spot for you."
Oh, okay. Have you had quite a few interviews, and how have you been going about getting those interviews?
I had a lot of phone interviews. The way I went about it was to tailor my resume for each job. When I would have a phone interview, one of the biggest challenges I faced was they wanted me to run errands.
Yes.
And I had to explain to them that I have to use public transportation and that I'm unable to drive. And after that, I didn't hear from them. I just kept trying. And
how many of those turned into face-to-face interviews, or did many of them?
there weren't very many that turned into face-to-face, but usually I've had the best success with networking.
What kind of networking have you been doing? I mean, you went to the Career Solutions, and that's a very good program.
I would just look for any opportunity to network and let people know, hey, I'm looking for work, and this is what kind of work I'm looking for. And in fact, that's how I got my job.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a job this week, didn't you?
I did, and my feet haven't touched the ground yet. I'm very excited.
So if I understand correctly, you started out looking for a job in teaching, and then when that didn't pan out, then you started looking. So you ran into this fellow that you had talked to 5 months earlier, and he was then asking you if you had found a job, and you explained you hadn't found one yet, and then?
Right. Well, apparently when he met me 5 months earlier, he sat next to me and he said he knew I couldn't see well and asked me if I needed help filling out a visitor's card. It was my first day at the church, and I told him thank you, but I can do it, and I think that left an impression on him. That
you're a can-do person. When we spoke about you coming up here and you told me you had found a job, I just started laughing. I just think that's really wonderful. And, you know, it just shows that if you work hard enough at it and, you know, and you're persistent, there are very few things that we can't overcome.
If I can find a job, anybody can find a job.
Find a job, yeah. Well, we really appreciate your coming by. We'll certainly want you to keep us posted on your job and see how you're doing. So thank you very much for coming by. Okay, all right, a pleasure. Good luck. I mean, it's pretty obvious Kimberly is blind. She can see just a little bit out of one eye. She still reads. She completed her degrees. She's decided that life goes on and she's going to deal with it. You notice that it took her a couple of years to find a job. Well, that's just life. I ran into Kimberly at the Career Solutions organization that I do some speaking at from time to time, and I knew that she was going to have difficulty finding a job. We're very proud of her. I'm sure all of you are very proud of her. Remember, she ended up going to work for a guy that she had met 5 months ago. Tell you anything, okay? You never know what kind of contacts are going to wind up getting you a job. I didn't mention it because she doesn't need it. She has found a job. That people like that do very well in call centers, in making phone calls or talking to people on the phone and things like that. because they have a heightened sense of hearing and they're able to empathize a lot more with some of the things that they hear. So we're very proud of Kimberly. As she said, I mean, you can't make it any more clear than that. If she can find a job, so can anybody else.